No, I really enjoy the show, and as I said, it's not that I like this one more. It's more fun to watch than the original. The original got like sort of, some of it's depressing, some of it's really not funny. It's really dramatic. Can you kind of talk about the changes that you guys incorporated into this and how much more it's going to diverge from this point on from what we've seen before?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the Australian version is a little bleaker. That might be the word that I think describes it. It's because I think our show has dark humor, but that show is, in fact, a friend of mine who is a writer here also was a huge fan of the Australian show, and he saw the American version and he said, "What'd you do? You took away all the bleakness." You know, I mean, I think that's a personal preference. I also think that they were that's a show that was more absurd and surreal than American audiences might embrace. I think that American audiences need sort of to understand, or at least be led a little bit more on as to giving clues about what's going on and what's happening. And I think it was just making it a little lighter. I don't know. I think the Australian version is also funny, but this show goes to a very dark and twisted place as we progress. By the end of the season, we answer some questions, we ask a lot more, and the relationships really sort of evolve and deepen.
Well, the peanut butter thing is a little bit disturbing, and I assume you have to know, I mean, a lot of us here, I put my dogs in a dog hotel for 4 days. Right after I saw this episode, kind of stressing me out. What are my dogs up to? What are they doing? Why would you sort of put that stress on audience members who love their dog and have to go away and put them in a place like this?
Well, let me go on record saying I am a dog owner, I am a dog lover, not in the way Ed Helms' character was a dog lover, but I think also, if you watch the episode, it's never 100% clear that it was actually happening. It may have been just Wilfred's plot to make Ryan feel guilty. And we try to leave every episode so that it's really up to the audience to interpret what's real and what's not.
That was one of the things I really liked about the episode, because you never know, and that the show kind of has that push where you're never sure what Wilfred's up to. And as you said, you have a dog. Sometimes you're not sure what your dog is doing, because dogs do weird stuff. They go off track sometimes. Can you kind of talk about pulling stuff from your dog, and I know Jason's dog, and some of the dogs that have been around the set?
Absolutely. Well, we didn't really have any dog. We had a couple dogs on the set, but I didn't have time to spend time with them. But while I was writing the pilot, I have a wonderful golden retriever who is nothing like Wilfred. He's very sweet and not at all devious. Who sat by my side the whole time, and I would watch him for his mannerisms and try to adopt some of the things from him and put them in the show. And he inspired me, and sadly he died right before we went into production, but he's on my little logo card at the end, and I think his spirit really stays with me. No, you know what, this was his gift to me, and now Wilfred's my dog. So
I was going to say, yeah, that's when I watch my dogs in the eyeballs, it's like you're watching a person, and sometimes they're so human, and I think that's what's great about this show, is it pulls that out and puts that like conversation out in the open, and because we haven't really ever seen that before. I mean, I know there's the Australian version, but this really is kind of new. How's the perception been of people coming into it for the first time who haven't seen the Australian?
Who haven't seen the Australian version?
And sort of their idea with what you guys are doing, humanizing this dog to this point.
I think people are confused in a good way and curious. I mean, I think dogs are extraordinary creatures. There's no animal more suited to be a companion to man, and it's. I think people feel an extraordinary bond to their dog. I don't know anybody who doesn't, have a voice for their dog or imagine what their dog says to them. And I think this show actually gives voice to a dog, and I think a lot of people, just as on Family Guy, when people used to always react to the Stewie character and say, "That's exactly like my baby." Well, no, your baby probably isn't trying to kill its mother, but you hope not. But there definitely are characteristics that we ascribe to our dogs and babies. And Wilfred gives us a chance to hear a dog actually say those.
Okay, well, thank you. I love the show, so I'm great.
Very much. Thanks a lot.
Randall says he disagreed with me when I said that like the dog owners get more out of it, but he doesn't. He disagreed.
He did?
Yeah.
Well, you can't listen to him. No.
I was just.
I mean, I think what has been a big surprise to me is how many dog owners really like the show because of their connection to dogs. To me, it was just like a very weird, unusual buddy comedy, but a lot of people really are responding to it because they're dog people, which is great, you know, and it's produced by dog people.
I so want to see like the dog, but I'm the only one on that fence, I guess.
Well, you know why we don't?
Because you would break that line of what the whole show's about.
Right. Well, the whole point of view of the show is we, the audience, are watching it through Ryan's eyes. We only know and see what Ryan sees. You'll notice there's never a scene where we see Wilfred where we don't also see Ryan seeing Wilfred, because the idea was to really have the audience feel everything and discover everything as Ryan discovers it.